Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here. I promised I would be here. If you didn't catch me as I gave the warning that I was going to be here, I don't know what to tell you, my dear. This is going to be the new recording method for the YouTube show for Crypto Talk Radio, now Leicester Live. Separate from Basic Cryptonomics, I'm going to literally record it straight from the stream, from the source, and do the same coverage I was doing, but as you notice, everything's just a little bit different and magic tricks that others don't have. So, without further ado, hopefully this format is appealing to you. That rhymes. I actually have at the top of today's show a question that came in from one of our viewers, and it had to do with a crypto that we covered a while ago. Mid-April, we covered a cryptocurrency called Sphere Finance. We did two. We did the swag. Go back in the archive, check that out. About April 14th-ish, swag, and then I did the high level, and then I did a deep root later. Let me refresh on where we are with this business. Because the listener who's been watching the channel has watched some of our videos, and I appreciate his question, and I appreciate his following. And I appreciate all subscribers, but him in particular, he's been kind of really helpful and informational and giving us, challenging us, right, to step up. But he was asking if we were going to do a follow-on coverage about it. And I said at the time, it didn't look like they had changed anything. So for me, there was a concern of whether or not I was going to cover a cryptocurrency. It didn't look like it had done anything different. Well, it turns out it actually did do something different, and it has been making changes. And so as a result, I figured I would go ahead and do a follow-on, quick follow-on. It's not going to be anything deep, but just a quick look, a quick glance for the things that have changed, talk about what's changed. So first, I need to get, and mind you, it is live. You can confirm down a little button up top, but I need to get proper suited up on my little screen here for the S&P 500 of cryptocurrency, as they still call themselves, Sphere Finance. This will be my follow-on coverage for Sphere Finance and where it is now compared to where it was before. What I said before largely has not changed, which was they have a garbage Git book. They have not done a PDF for their white paper. Anybody that's listened to me for a long time knows I am not a fan of cryptocurrencies that can't be arsed to give me a PDF so I can hold them accountable. But then I dug a little bit deeper because at the time I said that there were people talking about how it felt like a copy of Libro. And I didn't go any deeper other than what it looked like on the surface. It didn't look like a copy yet, but there were obviously inklings because it's a Titano fork and all this business. But at that time, it certainly didn't look like a copy. It looked like it just was one of the forks and figured it was doing what it was doing, so that's not a true copy. But with the changes, they went to a V2 as of April 29th. The V2, they went through an audit through CertiK as well as Solidity and some others. The audit arguably was terrible, and the results, I was not pleased in what I saw. I figured it was terrible, absolutely terrible. I was shocked at how bad that score was on CertiK. Now, the thing is, when I looked at what they failed for, it's the same stuff that I had concerns over. Mostly things about the code and things about the functions and everything else. They did this dog and pony show and they released it on all these news outlets about how they were going to be changing how rebasing works. I'm going to talk about what they said because I believe it's smoke and mirrors. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But they said that, let's say the blockchain goes down. When the blockchain goes down, which it's Polygon, this is Polygon Network, and it's gone down because of that garbage sunflower game, right? They said when the blockchain goes down, you don't get your rebasing, which, yes, that's true, simply because the blockchain wouldn't be able to give it to you. And today, they made it seem as though basically the rebases get lost if the blockchain goes down. I understand why they feel that way, but I question what they're saying as possibly disingenuous because the developer can code around that if they know what they're doing. It all goes to the accumulation. So when you accumulate rebase, it should be able to know, if you're using the database side correctly, how much rebase needed to apply for a given period of time. I think what they're assuming is that you're doing live rebasing, which is what the vast majority of them do. I'm simply saying that there's easy ways to get around it if you want to. I don't know and never did know or cared, frankly, why this became a thing, but they said that they were going to change it. They were going to change it to where no matter what happens, if something happens to the blockchain or whatnot, you're going to get your rebasing. There were some concerns in the CertiK audit about this business, but I looked a little bit deeper. They started creating a different token, and they call it Dyson. And you're like, why Dyson? If you're a Star Trek nerd, Star Trek ultimately has this idea of a as Scotty would say, a Dyson sphere. And it was basically this idea that you create this large metal something that contains like living cities inside of it and then floats around in space. So the Dyson is basically a wrapped version of Sphere. Now I can safely say it is truly, indeed, verily, a copy of Libero because, as you know, Libero is to date the only token, or actually the first now, can't say only anymore, but the first token to create the concept of wrapping a rebase token. And the only reason that you would do this, of course, is to get on exchanges so that you can benefit from exchange traffic and transactions. So now that they're copying that structure, now I can safely say they are a Libero copy. In the review I did, I mentioned that the volume was extremely low. Obviously, we're in a bear season with what happened with Ethereum crapping out, completely crapping out. And Binance is at all-time lows. I think it was like $300 last I looked at it, which is crazy. So the volume, even like if somebody really believed in the project, I would expect higher volume, even if it didn't make a dent in the graph. I don't see higher volume. The volume's still low, and it seems to be trending lower. So there's less interest in this project. Now, whether that's a byproduct of what's happening with the bear season or something about the project, I can't say. It's not for me to say. All I can tell you is the volume is still the biggest problem with this dude is that for whatever reason, people are not buying in on it. Second, yes, it is truly indeed a copy of Libero Financial. Maybe that doesn't bother you. Maybe you're cool with it because you're looking for separate passives. I'm not telling you it is or isn't an issue. I'm just telling you they're a long way away from becoming the S&P 500 of cryptocurrency at the rate they're going. I don't envision they're going to be around by the end of the year. I could get it wrong, but right now, the volume is near nothing. So I don't know what that's a symptom of. I don't know if there's a specific reason for it. I'm just telling you, something's wrong, something's weird, and I can't explain what the hell's going on with this dude. So, as far as Sphere Finance, to my listener that cared about the Sphere Finance, from my eyes, I don't see anything wrong with the project. Obviously the CERTIC audit was concerning. That's different. But I'm talking just, the code and everything in general. I think they copied a lot of stuff. Maybe that doesn't matter to you. I think they're struggling to get volume. I think that there's some chatter on social media about it, but it doesn't seem like that chatter is really doing anything to entice holders to get into the project. And if it can't get more holders and it can't get more people getting in on this thing, I don't know what good it does to anybody that's buying into the project, especially because there's so many other projects. Like if I look at just general activity, Safety right now is down. I think it went to like $50, which is crazy because it spiked at 330. It entered at like $10-15. So it's pretty close to its all-time low, its entry price. But even Seifu has been able to maintain a pretty good volume over 1 million. And then, of course, Libero fluctuates somewhere between 200,000 and 2 million, depending on what's going on. Titano's been way low. It's like a couple 100,000, sometimes 1 million, but usually it's trending down. Hopefully that's not because of my coverage and people getting freaked out over what I said, but suffice it to say, there's something not quite right with this business in Titano. And I would say the same thing now with Sphere, in the sense that for whatever reason, they're not able to get volume up. Because think about it. If people were already in it, I would expect high volumes of sells. I don't even see high volumes of sells. I don't see high volumes of buys. I don't see high volumes of sells. I don't see high volumes of anything. It's just there. It's just a thing. It's just a project. So maybe there's nothing to it. Maybe it'll turn to being something. I can't say. I don't know. All I know is what I see, and I think it's in a bad, bad way. So let me get back now to some other particulars. You see what we got. The brand has changed. Everything's different. Now I can openly talk about some other things that's going on. Let me give you a couple of updates on where we're at here. YouTube is its own program under Crypto Talk Radio. CTR on Air is the parent. Crypto Talk Radio is the show. Leicester Live is the program. So now as we watch and we go through time, as passes the time, as we watch this, what I have to see is level of interest. How many people dial in? How many people stick around? How many people are interested in what we got going on? Am I getting good traction? Am I getting good interest? Or am I not? If I'm not, that's okay. It doesn't bother me any. Because at the end of the day, this is just how I'm recording the episode that I would have normally done anyway. I'm just recording it with a different tool. The audio is going to be different because I don't have the hardware I want yet. At some point later, that will change, and I will get stellar hardware to the point of about $3,000 invested. And that's telling you I'm going all in the YouTube side as its own independent program under Crypto Talk Radio. That means I got a lot to invest in. The stage is going to change. I know it looks beautiful. Trust me. I love it too. But it's going to change because I'm going to step it up, especially since I saw Ariel Helwani. He's got the setup I want. So now he's raised the bar over top of me, and now I got to kick him. So that's my goal, and that's my plan, and that's what I'm going to be working towards, is to get to the point where now we can step this one up, make it stand alone, make it strong. Recording rather, frequency, cadence. So far, this will be basically once a week. We'll kick the tires. We'll see if there's any interest in what we're doing, or I'll just do it for the recording and not even care about the live. If we have to do that, that's fine. I know that it's going to take some time because people aren't used to me recording this way. They're used to getting the updates a little bit after the fact. They're not used to seeing me, so I understand how that works. Next time I do this, which looks like it'll be next week, Tuesday, next time I do this, we're going to be covering an underdog token. I have the underdog token in mind already. I've already taken a high-level look at it. We're going to go through it on the show. And here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to cover things like the analysis that I do normally. I'm not going to pull up the chart because I think it's a waste of your time. But we are going to do things like we're going to look at the site, the basic website. What does that site look like? Does it look like garbage? Are there obvious signs to look out for when you're evaluating cryptocurrency where it looks like it's a waste of your time and you can tell it's a waste of your time? We're going to look at the white paper and anything that flags in the white paper. Is there something there that would tell you there's a problem here and you probably shouldn't invest in this dude because it's probably going to rip you off? We're going to look at the, or do they identify themselves with any faces, any names, any LinkedIn accounts? Is there anything that we can identify to help you identify when you got a scam, when you got something that's likely going to rug pull you or honeypot you? We're going to go through that step by step. Now that I got my magic screen, we're going to do that for you. And hopefully it will help because I know some feedback came back about having visuals. I will have some visuals. What I'm not going to do is a full site scroll and read from the site. I will quote certain snippets that are standout concerning. I'm not going to just read all the text on the page. I have to teach you how to fish. So I'll expect that you will go in and do it yourself. But I'm guiding you on where to look now. I'm guiding you to the different sections of what I see and different parts and pieces of what I see. We'll play it by ear, see how it goes, and if there's strong interest, regardless, I think I'm probably going to do this as my recording method for YouTube going forward anyway, because once I get the new hardware, this thing's going to be amazing sauce. But as it stands, man, I love my freaking studio. I think it's epic. Epic. I don't think anybody come close how beautiful it is. I love it. I want your feedback. I want that smoke. Oh, yeah. By the way, I did start my new endeavor. For those curious, it started. There's a lot to do over there. It's pretty bad. Not bad as far as purposeful bad. Bad because they didn't know. They're not as good at it as I am. So I have to get in there and help them. That means that I'm going to have to work around my time schedule, but they're pretty flexible. So uploads will still happen in the afternoon, evening, just like they have done. And if it's on main podcast, you will get the update sent to you via the email alerts for the main podcast. Or if you're subscribed on the YouTube channel, then I believe you get a notification whenever there's a new upload there. Once again, for those who hopefully are paying attention, the lives will be once a week for now. If there's interest over time, then I'm happy to bump that up to possibly a daily, maybe daily, and it'll be 30 minutes at the most because I'm mindful of your time. I know there's a lot to talk about. I know some others go like an hour and a half, but I feel like I want to be mindful of your time. If this were TV we were talking about, you'd probably be about 30 minutes without commercials. So I want to make sure I'm staying within that bucket so that I'm not using up too much of your time. That said, I understand entertainment value. The time just seems to fly. We're already at 17 minutes. Just hear me talk. So we got something here. We're going to see how it goes. If you enjoyed it, I'm not going to shill you for any activity. You know what you would do if you do or don't like it. You know what that means to you. Either it means completely ignore it and never watch me again, and you've told me what you mean, or you'll take whatever actions appropriate to tell me what you think about this new format and my new stage and studio. And again, you'll probably have to get in when I announce it on social media that I'm going to be here from the scratch so that you get the visual in addition to the audio. For now, I'm going to go ahead and dial out. I'm going to send this off to YouTube land so that it's available to replay if you missed it. so that you can play it back. So that's the other nice thing, is that it's regular upload just like always. Sphere Finance is what I did talk about, and I don't know why anybody would invest in that project, quite frankly. See ya.